And we back. This is what we're rocking until actually don't even ask about it. So I woke up this morning and I saw a lot of people tagging me in an Instagram post that was called the 800 overall challenge. Anytime you see something like this on Instagram, on Twitter, please let a brother know, because stuff like this is what I live for. These are my favorite type of videos. Now, I saw it first on an account named Sense Hoop, shout out to them, where you have 800 total points or overall points to build a team of 10 players. And when I first saw it, I was like, that seems easy. It seems easy because 800 overall points is amazing. If you don't know, like, you got to subtract your favorite players overall if you add them to the team from 800. So, for example, John Wall is an 83. So you take your 800 points, you subtract 83, and that's how you build a 10-man rotation. I don't know if I needed to explain it that way, but you understand. So I see it, and I'm like, bro, this is about to be a breeze. It's about to be easy. We're about to put together a 5 all-star type team. It ain't really that easy, bro. It legitimately ain't that easy. I spent a couple hours trying to put together what I thought to be a really good team, and hopefully it's good enough to win a championship, because if it's not, then I just spent all that time for nothing. But one of the main reasons why I love a challenge like this is because it allows the comment section to go crazy, or people hitting me up on Twitter, Kenny, this is my team, and we try to figure out who put together the best orchestrated team. I think my team is solid. You might disagree, but let's get into it. For NBA 2K22, we have extreme goals, and in order for me to hit those goals, you got to leave a like on the video, and if you're new on here, you got to subscribe. Be sure to do that, man. It helps the channel out a lot. Let's get to my team, though. All right, let me explain to you what my method was when I was doing this, right? First thing on the agenda, I wanted to get my superstar player, the player that we were going to build around. And I'm looking at my notes here. I have 3 different versions of this team, and I'm deciding to showcase to y'all version number 2. Now, version number 2 don't win a championship, then maybe I'll reshoot this video. No, I'm not going to reshoot it, but I think this might be the best one. So I got my star player, and then I tried to get a co-star, and then I wanted to build the rest of the team with very, very good role players, because in my mind, you don't need a 4-star lineup. Technically, you probably could do it if you got 490 overalls. That puts you at 360 minus 360. That gives you only 440 more points to fill out the rest of the roster. You could do it. But the way I was thinking about it is all 10 of my players have to get adequate amount of minutes in a 10-man rotation. So I don't want a 65 overall player at the end of my bench, because you never really know. You might be in a playoff series, somebody fouls out, and now you're relying on that 65 overall. I wanted 10 very reliable players when we get down to the nitty gritty. So let me get you to my star player. First of all, for my star player, I did not go cheap. There are some star players out there that you can get for a 94. I'm gonna look at it like money. You can get a $94 player, and it'll be like James Harden. That's a steal. James Harden at only 94, that's a steal. That's a player that had been 96s in the past that still puts up great numbers. But I went to one of the highest overall players in the entire game. He is tied for the highest overall player in the entire game, and he's coming off a finals MVP. Give me Giannis. Also, remember that we're building a 2K team, and I kept that in mind as well. Giannis is the defensive player of the year almost every time I simulate, and he's always in conversation for MVP. I know that I can put together a good team around Giannis. I know I can do it. So I'm spending a good little change of mine to get Giannis on the team, but I promise it's gonna be worth it. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna add my points up one more time just to make sure, because I don't want to publish a video and I got $1 over, because then in the comment section is gonna go crazy. I have an exact 800 overall, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get to my co-star. Now, when I was thinking about co-stars around Giannis, I wanted to get a guard who we can allow Giannis to be a pick and roll player with. I know the Bucks don't run a ton of pick and roll as Giannis the roll man, but this organization, this team that we are building, I want Giannis to be rolling to the basket heavily. I also wanted to be the guy that will take a lot of pressure off of Giannis when it comes to the late games. He's already hit a ton of big shots in his short career. He's been to the conference finals, actually went against Giannis in the conference finals. It's Trae Young with an 89 overall. I had to really think to myself, between him and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who was like 2 overalls lower. But when you think about Trae Young in NBA 2K22, it ain't that much better. He puts up ridiculous numbers. His badges are almost maxed out across the board. He's coming off a really, really amazing year. So that is my big 2, my dynamic duo. We have Giannis and we have Trae Young. That's 2 spots in our starting lineup. Let me introduce you to the rest. At the shooting guard position, my goal was to put together a great defender, because I have Trae Young, who we all know he's not a very good defender. Like, all of his coaches are going to try to hide him on the defensive side of the ball. You don't even want him to give a lot of energy on defense because he's giving so much on offense. So I went out and I got probably the lowest overall great defender in the game. You already know who I'm talking about. If I'm talking shooter guards, great defender, low overall, it's Matisse Thybulle. Do I need to explain? Actually, let me show you Matisse Thybulle's badges in NBA 2K22. Because I know, you know, he was an all-defensive player off the bench. And 2K rewarded him that way, bro. They gave him a ton of badges. I'm going to put myself right here because my head is covering the rest of the team. You know what I'm saying? So these are the badges Matisse Thybulle have. Remember, this is a 75 overall player. Ankle brace, ball stripper, chase down artist, clamps, interceptor, intimidator, menace, off-ball pass, pickpocket, tireless defender. Those are all gold badges. And then he's got some silvers and he's got a few bronze. Now, he ain't really got much. Set shooter and corner specialist and then bullet passer and glue hands. But the point is, we got him on this team specifically to play defense. I didn't even realize his positions were small forward, power forward. We're going to change that on my team because he will be running a shooting guard. I mean, he's only 6'5". He can run shooting guard. He'll be fine. So when I have that as a great defender, I wanted to get a guy at the 3 position that can score the ball. I don't need him to be an elite level scorer. I just wanted him to be somebody that we can get a bucket. I wanted to get one of those players that's like when he's hot type players to start at the small forward position. So I went out to get Tim Hardaway Jr. Tim Hardaway Jr. had some moments this year, didn't he? Where he was unstoppable, he was on fire, and he is a 79 overall in the game of 2K. His defense is not terrible. He can score the ball. I think he's a good fit. You know, if Trae Young don't feel like holding the offense or Giannis don't feel like holding the offense, we could give the ball to Tim and say, get us a bucket this possession. So at the center position, I think that the center position is super important for this team because we have Giannis, right? I wanted to get a floor spacing center so Giannis can go to work, similar to how they just won a championship, right? Brook Lopez was the floor spacer, but I'm going to get Miles Turner. You had to know that he was going to make an appearance once you saw Giannis. I think they would be a nice fit because Miles Turner does shoot the ball so well for a center. He's okay with playing on the perimeter, but he's also going to block some shots. You know what I'm saying? So him right there with all of our starting lineup, we have a overall of 418. Still got a little less than half of our budget left for our bench. I think that's a complete W. Now, when I think about a bench, I want players that are there for a specific reason. When we get to my point guard position, since our starting point guard is not known for his defense, I wanted my backup point guard to be a defensive point guard. And there's one guy that maybe y'all saw him because there was a clip of him going viral on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok. But it wasn't him. It was the 2K version of him. TJ McConnell? TJ McConnell in 2K22 is an elite level defender. Do not go against the Pacers in my career if you're a point guard because TJ McConnell will lock you up. He is like that. He is different. At a 78 overall, he's got good playmaking badges because he can do that. But defensively, ball stripper, hustler, interceptor, pickpocket, ankle brace, off-ball pass, pick dodger, clamps, tireless defender. Those are amazing badges for a 6'1" point guard. He's a 78 overall. I needed him on the team. Now that I'm thinking about my second unit, we should have the best defense in the league. We should legitimately have the best defense in the league. Because a lot of the players on my second unit are known for their defense. And now that I'm looking at this, it's making me kind of question whether or not I like my second unit. Okay, we're going to keep it going. This is the team I told myself I'm going to present to y'all, so we're going to present it to y'all. At the shooting guard position, I have Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope at this point is a 74 overall. He is the lowest overall player on the team. I don't expect too much from KCP. I want him to defend pretty solidly and hit some open shots occasionally. That's it. He's got catch and shoot too. So, you know what I'm saying? Just catch and shoot. We got some good playmakers. Trae Young is going to set you up. Giannis is going to set you up when you're playing with that first unit. So, just catch and shoot, my boy. Move on to the small forward position. This is a position where I wanted to have a good defender, but also a guy that can get you a bucket, that can be a scorer off the bench. Because TJ McConnell, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, they're not really creating their own shots. This player can. He averaged about 20 points per game last season before he was traded from another country to America. And when he came to America to work, he was solid too. Norman Powell, bro. Norman Powell was having a super spectacular season before he ended up getting traded. Not that he was terrible after the trade, but before the trade, When he was in Toronto, he was killing it. And him being an 80 overall, he's going to be my spark plug off the bench. I know he's a higher overall than Matisse and higher overall than Tim Hardaway Jr., but I wanted him in the second unit because he has the ability to create his own shot. In the backup power forward position, I'm getting somewhat of the gang back together. This guy is an NBA champion. He's a power forward. He don't really look like it when you think about his height. PJ Tucker, come on, he's a 74 overall, but me and you both know the impact PJ Tucker can have on a basketball court. On the defensive side of the ball, on offense, he ain't really, let's be honest. But on the defensive side of the ball, he's got that. Now, one thing I have to tell my coach once we get to simulating, never put Matisse and PJ Tucker on the court together unless you legitimately need one stop. Them boys cannot be on the court together because that is a 0 and a 0 on the offensive side of the ball. And you don't really want that together. But separately, they both cause havoc, and they both can come in and defend. Now, if you're doing the math with me, that leaves me with a 76 points to get a center. And there are a decent amount of centers that we could have went with. I wanted to try to get a guy that was known to be able to score the ball because we have so many really good defenders. I think it would have been a good contrast. I have a nice big man that can score. But with a 74 overall, it's not that many options. We had like Enes Kanter, kind of. I'm sorry, we don't, because Enes Kanter's a 79. I'm so happy I didn't pick him because I would have been over budget. There's not a lot of really good scoring centers. If they are a good scoring center, they're an 80 plus overall. They're 90 overall, you know? So, and I decided to just go with somebody that's hella athletic. They can switch. They can defend very well. One of my favorite players coming out of his draft class, and I'm so happy to see him be successful, that is Nicholas Claxton. Nicholas Claxton at a 76 overall puts us at exactly 800 overall points, and that is my team. Hey, listen, I'm definitely not saying it's the perfect team, because it's not, but I really do like it. We have players that play their role. We have shooters. Like, look at this defense. We should be the best defensive team in the league. So one thing I got to do, I said I wanted to make Matisse a shooting guard so he can run some starter minutes for us. His overall actually goes down. Ooh, and his overall going down mean that I got one extra point. No, I'm not gonna use that point. But he's gonna start. He's gonna start. He's getting his first starting gig. KCP, you're gonna have to move to the bench, Bucko. We're starting Matisse. Actually, this whole rotation is kind of screwed. I'm going to give Tim Hardaway Jr. those minutes. This is the exact starting lineup I told y'all. Then off the bench, we do have our 6th man, our 7th man, our 8th man, 9th man, and 10th man. How do y'all think I did? We did sacrifice quite a bit by getting Giannis, right? Because if you look at overall points, I think I mentioned it earlier, like James Harden is low. And if you, like, a couple overall spots can go a very, very long way. Very, very long way. We went with a guy that was tied for the highest overall player in the entire game. You could have got away with Dame. Shoot, you can put together a more average team and go Jason Tatum, and then that gives you 6 extra overall points. You can go Jason Tatum and then get, like, instead of having Norman Powell at 80, you get another 86. You can have Jason Tatum, Trae Young, and another, who was an 86? Let me look at the 86. Jaylen Brown, Clint Capella, Bam Adebayo could have been your center instead of Miles Turner. So there's so many different ways you, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, there's so many different ways you can do this. And these are my favorite videos because the options are endless. Some of y'all watch this video think my team is trash, and that's okay. Some of y'all watch this video and gonna make a better team, and that's okay too. Some of y'all are 100% better GMs than me. I can't even lie. I just so happen to make YouTube videos. You could make YouTube videos too. I shouldn't be telling people to do that, because then y'all gonna be taking my job. All right, so I put him in Detroit just because Detroit hit the first overall pick. Bad organization, or not bad organization. Ooh, that's a stretch. Bad team right now. At least in the world of 2K, who the heck knows what's gonna happen once the season starts? I want Trae Young and Giannis both to average 25. That's another reason why we built the team the way we did. I want my star players to dominate so much that I'm going to go ahead and make them 1 and 2 options. I want to make sure that my number 1 and number 2 options are killing it. The Bulls lose 2 games. Come on, be better. We lost to a Trae Young-less Atlanta. And then Trae Young had a bad game. He loved Atlanta so much. He didn't want to do them dirty. I respect. Oh, okay. So I make them our 1 and 2 options, and we just all of a sudden can't score. We put up 140 points on the Bulls, and then after that, we couldn't score. There you go. You beat Brooklyn, you doing some good things. You beat Brooklyn, you doing some good things. Now, I don't expect, even though I would like them to average a lot of points, I don't expect this to happen just because we do have some scoring options. We beat the Bucks without Giannis by, how many percent? 57 points? Yeah. Yeah, that's the... Okay, Philly is... Oh my God. We suck. Did I spend all this time and put together a bad roster? We're beating up on the bad teams, but once we go against a good team, well, like, what's our next good team? Warriors and the Lakers are coming up, but we beating up on the good/average team. We beat these boys by a lot. But watch, loss, Lakers, win. Oh, okay. Hey, listen, I do believe that we will be the best team in the league and go on to win a championship. Somebody told me that this should be an 82-0 challenge. I don't think you can build an 800 overall team and go 82-0. Now, if you can, you are the real GOAT, and you 100% should be making videos, but I don't think it's possible. You could stock heavy on top-end talent, but I told y'all at the beginning, you can't have your 10th man getting 1 minute per game. He's got to get like a real rotational minute thing. Season is wrapping up, and this is why we spend so many points on my boy Giannis, because he can do this. I've told this story before, but when Giannis was very young, first getting into the league, I used to play 2K, play now, because we were weird back in the day. And I used to run Giannis at point guard. This is before Jason Kidd did it. I used to run Giannis at point guard. He's like a 60 overall. I didn't think he was going to turn out to be one of the greatest players of all time, but he's about to do that. So I'm a fan, Giannis. I just wish instead of being in Milwaukee, we're like 1 hour, 2 hours south in the other city in the Midwest. You know what city I'm talking about? But I'm happy. I'm happy for you. You won Defensive Player of the Year as well. I'm here for it. I'm here. We didn't win Coach of the Year? Oh, I'm taking that serious. I'm taking that personal. Dwayne Casey deserved that award. All-NBA first team, of course, because he was MVP. And Shea made it. Interesting. I turned Shea down to get Trae Young. We'll take a look at all the stats. We were the 1 seed, as you probably guessed, because we put together a stacked roster. Trae Young's numbers are not that far off of when it comes to points, at least from Giannis. 23, 8 assists, pretty solid. 20 point per game scoring. Norman Powell off the bench, by the way. He should have got 6th man of the year, but they be giving it to Drummond because Drummond gets rebounds. Tim Hardaway Jr. as a starter, 14 points per. Shooting splits are about the same as last year, just a little bit less points, so I'm okay with that production. Miles Turner never gets love in 2K, man. Shooting 28% from 3. He never gets the 2K love. I always want to keep him. I always want to draft him because the idea of Miles Turner is really good, but they never give him his love in this game. So next, TJ McConnell didn't even attempt the 3. Oh, he didn't attempt the 3. 2K, we got to get those tendencies right. He didn't attempt one of them things, but he put up good numbers off our bench. 8 points, 3 rebounds, 6 assists, and then a steal and a half. That's what we needed him for. Then we got Kentavious Caldwell-Pope back in Detroit. I forgot, this is where it started for him. Nick Claxton, great. Matisse, man, almost had more steals than he did points per. It is what it is. Oh, PJ Tucker, too. PJ Tucker's not a counting stats guy. He's a more like you got to be watching to understand his impact. All right, so we end up the 1 seed. Let's see who we're playing against. It's going to be Atlanta without Trae Young. Is Trae Young a system player? 2K is telling us Trae Young might be a system player because the team made the playoffs without him, and they took a game away from him, 2 games away from him. Don't play. Thank you. I can't even shorten the rotation, by the way, because the video says 10, or the thing says 10-man rotation. This team ended up being the 4 seed. All right, lock in, ladies and gentlemen. This is about to be a bloodbath, a game of runs. Game number 1 is a win by 2. Thank you, Trae Young. Game number 2 is a win by more than 2. Thank you, Giannis. Game number 3 is it's a loss. I definitely didn't expect a sweep. Come on. Wait, did I say triple-double for Giannis? Yes. Don't matter because we lost, but nice. 3-1 lead. Almost beat these boys by 30. Antetokounmpo with a 2020 game, and he was 100% from 3. Stop playing with Giannis. Okay. James Harden appearance is here. 17 free throw attempts. Come on, ref. There we go. We did it. Whoo! To me, that's the NBA Finals. Other than, the Clippers and the Lakers are scary too. Are they even going to... the Lakers got eliminated. The Clippers are scary too. Very, very scary. So we'll see. Boston... I might be bugging here, but I'm not really worried about this Boston team right now. Not against my team. Are we going to sweep them? I don't think we'll sweep them. Yeah, okay. I didn't think we swept them, but we gave them the gentleman's sweep. We let them win 1 game. Norman Powell, what a pickup. He's also picking up his play in the playoffs, as you can see, putting up really good stats. Now we get to the finals. It's the yo. Hey, I'm just saying. In 2K22 so far, the Jazz are a simulation beast of a team. That's all I'm saying. I was doing the video that you won't see. Maybe you know what? Maybe you will see it eventually. I shot a video, and the Jazz won a ton of championships. That's all you need to know. Game 1 against the Jazz, the almighty Jazz. Salt Lake City, by the way. I think in my last video I called Utah City, and obviously I didn't mean that. I'm not that out of it, and it looks like they're getting swept. So okay, maybe they weren't as great as I just gave them credit for, but my 800 overall team went into the playoffs and took care of business and won it all. Like I said, man, if you see a challenge like this on the interwebs, please hit a brother up, because I do enjoy these a lot. You know what I'm saying? Whether it be something like this or just any out of the range where I gotta build it, I'm looking for it. Appreciate you. See you tomorrow. Peace.